We've got a lot to do today.
We do.
So
And we're already a minute late.
And I'm gonna scoot in.
Hi, Steven.
With Chuck. No, we're good.
It's Byronic Commando. Here's Will. There's Blanc 8, John.
Hey, you don't do my fucking
and then
job.
Steven's arm. So no, Steven's arm. Your arm is gonna do your job for you. So go fuck yourself.
Welcome to the 208th Angry Cuddles podcast. My name is Steven. With me, as always, is the Force. And I don't know why I didn't make that joke before.
Oh.
Because I do the with me as always joke.
Yeah.
You need to save that for December, yo.
But with me is always the Force. The Force will be with you all. Like, I don't know why I never thought of fucking doing that before.
May the Force serve.
Did it just hit you now?
It just, no. I thought of this. Usually I don't pre-write. I usually don't pre-write them down.
Again,
I try to
that guy.
Yeah.
I try to make one up on the spot, but the last few times I try to do that, I sit there for like what feels like a minute and a half going, I don't know, cardboard boxes.
See, the funny thing is, last night I was talking about, he says, yeah, I still want to talk about Arkham Knight today. Like, no, don't say a fucking word past that, okay? I already know too much. Because I need a visceral reaction. And then here you are, you're writing all your shit down and prepping beforehand.
Well, these are like notes of headlines of game news before we get to like the topic of the day.
Oh.
But the last week when we tore apart Jurassic World, and that was a really fun one. But we kept, before the podcast, we kept talking about it, and Mark and I have to go, okay, stop! Let's wait until we get in front of the microphone. Holy shit. Joining me today is Chuck, Byronic Commando. His name's down there at the bottom. You can follow him on Twitch. Will Roth. Now, why is Will sitting in the middle when clearly the end of the couch is usually where guests go? That's because Will's not a guest. Will is now on the podcast. Fucking on the podcast! So,
I gotta do snuggle buddy.
We welcome Will with open arms, and we also say, not goodbye, but Mike, who was on the podcast from the beginning.
Oh.
Mike and I are the only two that have been from episode 1 until now. I mean, maybe missed some days or whatever.
Yeah.
But so Mike has stepped away.
Oh man.
He'll be back to guest and stuff, but he's doing insulation work. So
Wow. So we have an insulator, and then we have a boat detail guy.
Wait,
now.
so installating?
Boat detail.
Or
That's
insulating?
my job, yeah.
he's installing insulation into houses.
Okay.
So that's a hot job.
Right?
Is it
Or
hot
cool.
job.
It's a hot job.
Is it that blow-in stuff?
No, it's legit.
I have no idea.
I think it's the foam cubes that they'll like chicken wire on.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
And John is Blanc 8. Also, his name is down there. You can find him. If you'd like to chat with us, chat is up, and we can all see it. I have a monitor for everybody now, so everybody can see the chat.
Yeah, this is actually a really good setup.
We need a cameraman. We need a cameraman to pick up the camera.
If I thought my computer could handle it, and later on, I'm going to get like a desktop computer for streaming, and I can do a couple of different cameras. What were you gonna?
I'm just saying that you're not gonna get a desktop computer.
I
will eat my hat.
I am, and here's why.
Okay.
I got a computer to be able to play, not at like the ultra settings, but to play current games, and it does. But I can't really do anything else with it. I tried to stream Fallout New Vegas, and it just chugga, like it did it, but not very well.
I actually tried to stream How to Survive yesterday, and I got such a massive flicker out of the tape that I basically had to scrap the whole thing. It sucked, and there was nothing I could do about that because I think it is the way the game works on the laptop.
Yeah.
So I gotta get a desktop computer eventually too, and Jesus, I don't know how much money that's gonna cost.
The laptop that I thought was broken that I let you borrow has served you pretty well.
Yes, it has. Plays Hotline Miami, which I will probably be playing this afternoon.
That game's surprisingly violent. Have you guys played Hotline Miami?
Yeah.
Have you seen my Hotline Miami, Will? It's like a top-down
Did you ever
game.
see Drive?
Yeah, okay.
It plays like that.
Oh, okay.
It's sort of like Drive. You get like a little contract, and it's essentially you're going into. Imagine you're looking at blueprints like from up above of like a house or something or a building, and each room has dudes in it, and you have to murder them all. But it's like it's like 8-bit, like NES style graphics.
I'd say 16, but yeah.
I don't Maybe.
There's too many colors, yo. This thing is set in 80. No, I'm serious. It's set in 89, so it's the most Saved by the Bell shit you've ever seen in your life.
But
it is brightly
it's also
neon
surprisingly violent. So like these little sprites, these little 2D sort of sprites. I'm walking around and it's like press the space bar to kill someone from behind. I'm like, okay, and he like slices his neck and like blood all over the wall. And I go, oh shit! And so like I go up to someone else and I punch him and he slams against the wall and then I hit the space bar to finish him and he curb stomps his head into the wall and it sprays everywhere. And this is in little 8-bit. But it's still like shocking and disturbing how graphic it manages to be. Yeah,
it is detailed.
Anyway, what are we going? What are we going on? Oh yeah, I do want to start with a salute to the big man, Iwata-san, the President of Nintendo, passed away yesterday at 55, which is 55. Just a ridiculous young age. Yeah, really is. Like that's stupid. So. Our heart goes out to his family and Nintendo, and Chuck's a big Earthbound guy, so that's, Anything Chuck said yesterday, anything HAL Laboratories, Smash Brothers, Earthbound,
Kirby was Pokemon
Kirby,
mm-hmm. Yeah. He was the one that got enough of Pokemon Gold and Silver crammed into that little spot that at the end, after you beat the Elite Four, you have the original setting, Pokemon Red and Blue, waiting for you to discover and explore as well.
That's cool.
On a Game Boy cartridge.
Yeah.
That's Satoru Iwata.
So, so long, Iwata.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't done game headlines in a couple weeks, so I'm going to do sort of a quick series of hits here. Ubisoft, if you guys remember watching E3 a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I think, and they showed what Watch Dogs was going to be.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's fucking gorgeous. Yeah. Look at that shit. I'm so excited. Mm-hmm. Now, full disclosure, Watch Dogs is one of my favorite games.
Yeah. I
get the criticisms, and I get the feeling of betrayal. I do. But that is one of my favorite franchises. I fucking love it. I love that hacky shit.
Love it.
Because of Watch Dogs, Ubisoft has changed their approach to E3 to showing pre-release games. And it started this year. They will now no longer, as a lot of game companies do, basically like, this is sort of what we're shooting for, so we'll show it to you. And a lot of games tend to get close to that.
Yeah.
But Watch Dogs didn't come close to that, and that's where the problem was. So now they're not doing that anymore. What they're doing is they make it playable on the machine first and then show it to you.
About goddamn time.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
More people need to do that.
There's already one exception, though.
Of course.
Which is the Ghost Recon trailer they showed. Mm-hmm. But it was but the exception was like an exception. I don't know what the technically what was different about it.
Yeah.
But they still have that more or less where it's supposed to be. But that Ghost Recon trailer looked
oh my god,
very, very, very nice.
Pretty sick.
As somebody who has just, I am entirely immune to the hype train now. So you tell me shit like, "Ooh, E3, like, okay, cool. You give me a rundown of the shit that you think is cool, and I'll make a decision there." Like, everybody makes a big deal about me of like, I want to ask people personally what is cool, or how does this work, or any sort of information. Cool? And everybody says, "Oh, here, let me Google that for you." And I keep getting that answer from everybody so much. It's like, why can't you do it yourself? Why can't I do it myself? Because I know I can, but I would much rather get personal experience from it.
Personalized, rather than manufactured.
I want to hear word of mouth.
Yeah. I think that's, good. Like, ethically, that's probably a good decision to make. Besides Watch Dogs, is there anything that you guys were ever like super hyped for, and then when you got it, you went, "What the fuck?"
Oh yeah, back in the day when Fable.
Fable is brilliant.
Yeah. So, speaking of aiming high and missing poorly,
man. You know what? I still think that Fable would have been received the way it was intended if Star Wars: The Old Republic hadn't jumped their gun by about 6 months, because Fable's like, look at all the personal choice and all this shit, and your
Do
actions
this
are gonna
shit,
mean shit. And then KOTOR jumps out like 6 months in advance and is like, yeah, we did all that with Jedi.
Yeah.
And then Fable comes out and it's like, well, this is kids
Chicken
play.
chaser.
Yeah.
Chicken chaser.
We have boobs. We have boobs.
Yeah.
Golly.
Well, I just remember an interview I was reading as a young child.
If it was with Peter Molyneux, you take all that shit with a mountain of salt, man.
And I was so excited upon reading it, and they were like, I remember saying, he was like, the choices in the game, he's like, boil down to the fact that you can, if there's an enemy coming at you and you don't have a weapon, you can take a branch, tie a stick to it, tie a rock to that stick, and hit the enemy like a medieval flail. And I was like, that's incredible! And then you get the game.
Choice
and
in action.
So you wanted Dead Rising.
I wanted Dead Rising Fable. That's
Yes.
I remember one of the ones that sticks with me
awesome.
actually was just a screenshot, and I think it was in Game Informer, and it was around when the 360 was launching. They showed a Madden screenshot, quote unquote, of like a football player, like, you know, in the dirt or having just hit the dirt or the grass or whatever.
Yeah.
And the still shot was gorgeous. It was amazing, and the most recent Madden on Xbox One doesn't even look like that.
Jerry Hawkins, Penny
Yeah.
Arcade, he came up with the term bullshot for that.
Bullshot.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah. Where the image is...
Nowhere near the reality.
John, you screwed on hype?
Final Fantasy VIII.
8?
Yeah. Oh, well, no, like, I love that game, but I saw
That's even further back than Fable.
I saw the opening cinematic, and I was like, oh... shit, son. And then you get in and you're like,
I couldn't tell you how many times I watched that intro.
Yikes!
That looks a little yowza.
I remember that they showed back in the day when, for the most part now, cutscenes are usually done in engine.
Yeah.
And even if they're not, you know, the engine close, or it's just a stylized thing, and you buy that. But I remember back in the PS1 era, they'd show scenes from Resident Evil 2 in a commercial, and I'm like, whoa! And then I got the game, and I was like, oh, those are the cutscenes. That's different from
different
the game.
engine.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Bungie, the creators of Halo and more recently Destiny. As well as Marathon, and
Old school
Oni.
PC gamers.
Oni on PS2.
Yeah?
That was Bungie.
PS2.
PS2 Oni. One of the launch games, I think, for PS2.
Oh, okay.
Was a Bungie game.
They still had some time before Xbox bought their soul.
Mike and I have spent a lot of time over the course of this podcast. I love Destiny, but I also bitch about it a lot.
Yeah.
Specifically the story. Like, they hired in the late stages of production, they hired David Cross and Brian Posehn, which are stand-up comics, to come and play the game and punch up the script, because the script was boring.
Yeah.
So David was doing this interview with I don't know if he was interviewing with Destructoid or Destructoid was reporting on the interview. But David Cross said, so Brian and I go up and we work on the game. The script's, you know, mostly boring. It's all like, the Cabal are attacking. Put me here, Guardian. And so they came up with sort of punchy lines and stuff for Dinklebot to read and he, you know, to make it have more personality and stuff.
Dinklebot.
And they used 0% of it.
Really?
What?
They brought them up there to punch up their script, and they didn't use a single line that David and Brian wrote.
Do they have a reason why?
Nope, they didn't say.
Wasn't.
Mike's theory is that they're actively trying to create the worst game they can think of because they know we'll still fucking buy it.
Of course.
or they're putting in the minimal amount of effort that they possibly could.
Yeah, but they put in the effort.
But they did put in the effort to bring them up there.
Yeah.
They just didn't follow through on the effort.
That's very strange.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think it's because they're trying to go for a specific kind of image, and then David and Brian wrote their script. Like, can you, like, fucking... I would be all over Destiny if David and Brian, two people whose comedy style I actually don't even like all that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, David Cross I haven't liked since Mr. Show ended, and Brian
Oh,
Posehn
God, that
I
show was
never
so
liked. But if I found out that they were writing the script for Destiny, I would be all over that shit like that.
Well, it's just because, like...
Because it turns it turns Call of Duty in space into Lethal Weapon in space, kind of. Where it's action comedy now. It's something you can actually listen to. Like, I remember how much I enjoyed playing Battlefield Bad Company versus Battlefield 3.
Marty McFly, it's good to see you again. You are our first repeat chatter.
And once again, you bring up the fucking foot fetish.
Actually, moccasins. Here.
Homeboy
I made these last night.
John's got some really rad boots. And I'm going commando. So
I like this. I like this. Boots, moccasins,
which
like
is the
it is. Yeah. Wow, that's wow.
Actually, it's been I want to say 3 or 4 podcasts that we have not mentioned footwear.
That's because it's been 3 or 4 podcasts and somebody else didn't mention footwear.
But yeah, I feel like that's just tremendous waste of time. Like Bungie.
That is a tremendous waste of time.
A script puncher is something that I'd love to do. Now, so like we did a thing with Jurassic World last week where we fixed it. Like the scenes that we had problems with and stuff. Now let's fix it. Same thing with we've done it as far back as Star Wars Episode 1 and Spider-Man 3. I actually think I can fix I've mentioned this before, but I think I can fix Spider-Man 3 just with the footage that's already there.
Okay.
I think I can take that DVD and just re-edit it.
And do the
Advent
Children Master...
The Advent Children Complete Edition. Well, actually, I don't even have to add anything. The way to fix Spider-Man 3, just to recap, is you remove most or all the scenes with the Sandman in it, actually.
Yeah.
That's true. Bring him out. Okay. When Peter goes to confront Harry, and they have a little fight, Harry throws a bomb at Peter, he whips it back and it explodes, Harry survives and comes back and ends up saving him from the giant Sandman thing. Remove that, because Peter kills him with that bomb. Now, there's an emotional reason that he wants to get rid of the black suit. He just killed his fucking friend. Like, that's powerful.
Yeah.
When Eddie Brock gets the suit, he gets it off him in the bell tower. Eddie Brock takes it. He's like, no, you're going to end up killing a bunch of people. You think that this is going to, help you, but it's not. And that's now good reasoning for him to care so much about Venom. Because the worst thing he did, and this is bad, but the worst thing he did was sorta, kinda accidental rage knock Mary Jane down.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sideline domestic abuse. I'm just saying it was one of those, like, oh, shit, what have I done?
Yeah. But on a scale
something
of...
kind of sleazy and not...
Right.
Murderous.
Destroying a city or pushing your girlfriend or something. Where do we draw the line?
Don't push your significant other, people.
Don't do it.
Anyway, so yeah. Okay. What color do you associate with PlayStation?
Blue.
Blue, black, and black? Mm-hmm. Interesting. What color do you associate with Nintendo?
Red.
White.
Gray.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
What color do you associate with Xbox?
Green. Period.
Green. Yeah.
Green.
Okay. Chuck actually got them all right. I mean, there's no right answer. But in terms of marketing, Nintendo uses red for marketing.
Oh, I guess
Sony uses blue for marketing. Okay. And Xbox uses green for marketing.
Well, nowadays, the Wii U is more kind of like this bright blue.
It is like a blue. But even the Nintendo logo, though, is still red. They haven't changed that. The reason that the Xbox is green is one of their marketing artists had bought all these new markers. Like right when they were developing the Xbox system, the first Xbox system. He brought all the markers in, and
yes, he was a golf ball, wasn't he?
Marty McFly says, once I heard Destiny had the actor who played Tyrion on Game of Thrones, I flipped out and got the game. Then I found out he was a golf ball. Yeah, and, there are times where I sort of chuckle, because some people didn't like Dinklage's acting. They thought he sounded bored. But I thought he sounded like a flying robot, and I thought he delivered his lines just fine.
It's Marvin the Paranoid Android.
The Cortana of that game I was fine with. I just wish that the comedy had still, the punch-up still been there, which is something that I really want to do. I would love to be a script punch-up. Anyway, so the Xbox Labs or whatever, their marketing guy buys all these markers, and everybody steals them because they're really nice, like fine-tipped markers, except the green one. And when they're like, okay, we're going to have a meeting about creating some logos and stuff, that was the only one he had. So he made a bunch of Xbox logos with the only marker that was left, which was this green, and then it stuck.
Wow.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a neat story.
That's pretty neat.
So that logo was created out of everyone else in the office, their shittiness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shit
Thus
employees.
creating Xbox.
The most resourceful marketing man ever.
Chuck, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Because you're going to have... I mean, I'm sure you've seen this, but you're going to have a reaction, and I don't want you to have it just yet. Because I'm going to get to it in a second. Let's get back to the chat. Okay. I think you can pull your face up now.
What?
You can watch now. You can see. It's okay. Don't worry yet. I'll pull it up in a second.
Okay.
The Hitman. Hitman's coming out.
Oh yeah.
Next gen. Are you guys Hitman fans at all? Chuck has his hand raised. Yes.
I played a
So let's give
little
him
bit of a couple of them, and
Likes, dislikes.
I don't know. I couldn't get into his character, I guess.
Yeah.
47. He was just.
Hand me that. Hand me that ice bucket.
It was just.
Yeah. Here's my fucking ticket.
It was like. I mean, he was cool, but like I just couldn't get into his character.
Yeah.
So.
It felt like he was trying very hard to be cool.
Yeah.
The barcode and everything.
Yeah. Hitman is one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah.
Because, and this is why I like Hotline Miami so much.
No.
The murder puzzle genre.
Yep.
Is like my favorite and most underserved genre. That's what I want to do. In every game, I want to outsmart. I want to outsmart my enemies, not just outgun them.
Yeah.
And this franchise allows me to do that. On back to the Destiny thing, Marty McFly says, and I thought to myself, all right, I can settle with just his amazing voice. And all I heard from him was the aliens are coming, fight waves of them. And yeah, so he's always like, I've got to do some shit. Cover me.
Bye.
Is every mission in Destiny. It's still, I still play it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You've gotten the expansions and everything.
I've gotten the expansions and everything so far, up to this point. Hitman is going to be released digitally first.
Mm-hmm.
It will be released roughly 80% completed, meaning that they will release
A patch?
a sizable chunk of the game, and then for free add to it and create a living world that you're in as you go through. They already mentioned that some targets will like only be available for a limited time and then go away forever. If you don't, for 48 hours, you can get on and kill this target, but that's your only chance to do it.
Yeah.
And then they will, it's not episodic, but they're going to play out the story as people play the game.
And it's going to feel like almost like a Facebook game version, almost.
Sort of.
Like.
It feels like a sort of a single player, not entirely MMO style because it's not massively multiplayer. Yeah. But that flavor of this perpetual world.
Where the content's spaced out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are there going to be other players in the game, or is it just?
I don't think that you run into other assassins in the game, but one of the things that you could do in the last one that they're bringing back a version of is people can put out contracts on other NPCs and possibly on you. I hadn't heard yet, but they could be like, oh, okay, this dude here who's in this mansion. Yeah. I'm going to put out a contract on him and bonus money if you kill him silently without being seen. Mm-hmm. And so then people can create murder puzzles to share with people and challenge people.
That's a Hitman I can stand behind.
Yeah. But the Hitman disc will be released a few months later when the rest of the content has been put on it, and then disc release. How do you feel about that?
I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
I figured you might be the one that'd be like, fuck that!
No, I like the idea of a constantly evolving Hitman world, because ask any probably government wet work guy or any cleaner, mechanic, whatever you want to call them.
How would I do that?
Ask them something?
How would I ask them?
Hey,
real quick, I had a dream last night that I was having dinner with President Obama. Yeah. And it was, so I don't know if I'd won a contest or whatever, but we were sitting there at the table, and I was like, this is my opportunity. And so I asked him. I remember asking him.
This is my opportunity.
I asked him if he could envision a future in which drones completely replaced people in terms of warfare. And he like had a response to it, and he essentially said, "No, I don't think so, because there will always be a need for a person making a decision in the moment at the time, and stuff like that." And then I asked him, I don't know, I think it was
what are you guys eating?
All right, well,
there's the important question.
Quail?
Fair
wow, Dan quail or just quail?
Just regular quail, I believe.
Okay, you mentioned the UAVs, like where people will be eventually entirely replaced by drones or robots or something like that. And the reason why the human element is still important is because computers aren't as able to think organically as well as humans can. So, hitters can say, you need a world where you have to adapt, and you have to adapt on the fly, and you have to adapt with what is immediately around you. You don't have time to think, you only have time to act.
Right.
So, to have a world that is not entirely finished, that they don't have everything all planned out.
For Hitman,
sounds right.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like the Chuck Porter approved method, though.
Which would be?
Having everything on a disc.
Complete
day
physical
one.
copy.
Yeah.
Well,
I think because it's being sold to us as a living world and not as
something that's
a single player game,
incomplete.
and then we get it, and there's day one updates, and we'll release the expansions that have more story in it later.
That's, okay, yeah. That's true.
well, I mean, Street Fighter X Tekken.
Yeah.
Street Fighter X Tekken came on a disc. Might as well not have come on a disc, because you got two people. I think you got like 2 or 4 people that you could play as, and then you could go and buy additional characters. Like,
Was it free?
no,
Oh.
you still had to pay like
Ooh.
$30 for the disc.
Ooh.
I rented it from GameFly. They sent it to me in my mailbox. That's how I knew about Street Fighter X Tekken. So, yeah, that was kind of stupid. And I was like, you know what? If this is the way you're going to do your games, then yeah, make them all digital. And as soon as that happened, entirely digital actually made more sense like that.
So you guys, John, Will, eventual release-ish.
Why ever... See, I'm on the opposite boat where I don't want a physical copy. If you're gonna give me content, give me content. I don't need you to put a...
Yep.
The Witcher 3 has also released a shitload of expansions for free.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't like the way that Warner Brothers, Arkham Knight is doing their season pass DLC shit where everything costs money and the season pass doesn't include everything, and you're pre-buying DLC that you don't know what it's going to be later.
Yeah.
So we're just going to give you all that shit for free. And if we charge you for an expansion, it's going to be game-sized expansion.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's the thing about Witcher 3 is they've come off as good guy Witcher 3. Which I love because they're giving you away so much good shit, and the game is great. It had that horrible thing at the beginning where you bought the game and suddenly you just couldn't play it because you get stuck at the start screen.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, we're working on it. And you say, well, don't sell me this game if it's not ready to play.
This is the second time. You've been here 2 episodes,
Absolutely.
and in as many episodes, you have brought up a game that was entirely unplayable at the start screen.
Absolutely. And that's craziness.
That is stupid.
It's just nuts that you're paying for games that you just simply can't play when you buy them.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I've had that experience a few times now. Diablo 3 was one of them.
Yeah.
Every Warcraft expansion I've bought.
Every WoW
And
expansion.
you bought all...
Day one, it's like, you're not getting in those servers. Like, it's not going to happen. You wait for 3 hours and maybe you get in and hopefully your game doesn't crash.
This is my thing with, and as you guys all are aware, you can't see it on camera, but you guys can see my bookshelf over there. There's actually, it's dwindling, like in terms of like games and movies and stuff on it.
You're missing a whole shelf.
Because that's all the shelves it came with.
Oh.
Don't touch my shit.
We raised one higher, for starters. Anyway, the point is, as digital pervades my life, my hard drive actually sitting somewhere over there is what has most of my movies on it, for example. And I just prefer that.
I'm down for
I don't like shelves of things. And people do. People love libraries and all their books up as trophies, and I get that emotional thing. I do. But I'm I'm all for digital. I actually didn't rebuy, but I own Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and so it went for free on gold. You know?
Which I just downloaded yesterday, and it kind of blew my mind because I had just saw something online about it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it out. And then I went on Xbox, and I hit download, and then all of a sudden it goes, and it was done, and I go,
what?
Nuh-uh.
yeah, I go, what the hell?
Liar.
And then instantly I was playing it, and it brought back so many great memories of Black Flag.
I have the disc of it, but then so I wasn't gonna get it. Like, I mean, it's free, but there was no reason for me to. But then today I realized, like, oh no, there is. I can get the free license for it, and then play it digitally from my system without having to put in the disc.
Yeah.
And then if I ever cancel my gold for whatever reason, I still have the disc. Actually, what I usually do with my gold games is when they go for free, I either give someone or sell my disc version.
Yeah, I gave my copy of XCOM to Mike.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way.
Okay, so the last thing that was really neat. Marty McFly says, I work with the PR marketing at a pretty large game studio, and if you have your game or its developers viewed poorly, it can highly impact games. Yeah, and that's sort of one thing that we talked about before is with Bungie and people like Ubisoft and stuff. When people start to get frustrated with them, BioWare ran into this a little bit at the end of Mass Effect 3, and I supported BioWare's Mass Effect 3 original ending, by the way. But if you piss people off, especially now, like internet, that can do a shitload of damage.
Yeah.
And so Bungie I think has an uphill battle with their next DLC, The Taken King, because people are so like...
Done.
God damn it, again? You know.
Yeah.
Kind with it. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. I have... you're going to see a little bit of Inception on the screen here while I flip over to our visual, because there's a neat little thing that I wanted to show Chuck.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Did you see this, Chuck? Capcom is making a proper Mega Man helmet. A wearable helmet with little LED lights in it. They will, as Destructoid reports...
Scroll!
Capcom will soon open pre-orders for a wearable Mega Man helmet made of high-quality ABS plastic with a high-polished finish. Authentic proportions and details plus working LED lights. They're apparently currently on display at San Diego Comic-Con and at shop.capcom.com. I'm gonna guess these are $200. Like, I'm just throwing that out there as a guess.
Yeah.
If it's more than that, I'll think that's fucking ridiculous. And if it's less than that, I'll be like, ooh, a steal.
Yeah.
My head is too goddamn fat for a toy like that. So unless you're planning,
well, it actually opens up down the center of it, and so
I bet you can do it.
Goes onto your head. Like
so instead of putting it on this way,
right.
I get to Iron Maiden that shit on my head.
Yeah.
Ow.
I bet that this fits you.
Yeah.
I would bet.
Don't tell me that.
I think that you have an adult-sized head, and I think these are made for adults.
Yes. And I think that if it does fit you, which it will fit you, then you should come here dressed in a full Mega Man.
You know what? I've actually considered cosplaying two... No, okay, not two, just the one. I've actually considered cosplaying as the Mega Man as featured on the cover of the very first one. The one that looks absolutely nothing like the actual Mega Man with all the yellow and shit on him. I've actually considered cosplaying as that. And if I could get that helmet, it's not accurate cosplay, but that would be fucking hilarious cosplay.
Real quick, before we get into the main topic of today for the second half of the show, do you guys, in terms of start screens, you mentioned this earlier, when you get to a start screen, it says, press start. What do you press?
I wait.
Every time I fucking press any button other than start.
Yeah.
And if the game ever goes, no, you've got to actually fucking press start. I hit A, and I go, oh, okay. Let's actually
takes themselves
seriously. Very seriously.
Marty, I personally don't know what he said, so I don't have any personal input, but I'm sure at the very least this guy's been paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, I have the interview that one of the guys gave, one of the Bungie people gave about the Taken King. The Eurogamer was interviewing him. Specifically, there is a deluxe collector's edition that they're releasing digitally for like $80 or $90, which includes the game, the 2 previous expansions, the Taken King expansion, and some bonus emotes, like haha, actions, MMOs, emotes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The Eurogamer said, I've been a long time Destiny fan and player. I would like to get these emotes. How can I do that? Well, buy the deluxe edition. But I already own 3 out of the 5 things in the deluxe edition. Is there any way I can get these on my own? And he goes, no, but when you see them, you'll want them. You'll want to buy them. And he's like, but
we're gonna rebuy a whole fucking game.
I don't want to have to rebuy. And he like presses him on it, and the dude was a standoffish asshole about it.
Maybe he's the ocean marketing guy
from the controller.
Yeah,
from Penny Arcade. The people they were like, wow, this guy's a douchebag, and he came back and he was like, you know what? I reread that interview with Eurogamer.
My boss slapped me on the back of the head.
If I'm imagining this coming from
some NCIS game slap shit.
I'm imagining the interview I gave from another developer that I like, and they come off as an absolute jackass or asshat. I think he said asshat, and he said that asshat though was me, and I apologize. And I was like, wow, okay, that's a good apology. Calling yourself an asshat and apologizing is the way to apologize to people. Yeah. They have since said that you can buy those emotes for like $20, which is a goddamn travesty.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
That's not, or maybe it's $10. If it's anything more than $1, that's just fucking stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just update your game with emotes. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And they've said, okay, people that have been playing Destiny for a while, we're gonna give you some more stuff to make up for it. But man, that's a game that's already, buy it at $60. People were kind of disappointed with it.
Feels
it's incredibly
like
repetitive.
It's sputtering now. It really does.
I don't know. We'll see. Destiny was not what they said it was going to be.
No.
Yeah.
It was not. So, a quick story about start screens. When Chuck and I were working at Blockbuster in Denton, this guy rented Metal Gear Solid 3 on PS2.
I know where this is going.
And he brought it back, and he's like, "Oh, the game's not working. Like, I think
it's going up,
busted
Chuck and motherfucking Norris."
Chuck, thanks for joining us, Chuck motherfucking Norris. Hello to you as well.
Hello.
The MF might stand for Mon Frere.
Yeah.
Monfrere.
Chuck Monfrere Norris.
It may not be motherfucking,
but the other end.
Totally assigned him.
Missing an R and missing an S, so it could very well be French.
When Marty McFly says, Chuck, I feel like you're about to pull out a shotgun with the aviators that you had on. These are what we call what seems to be the problem officer glasses.
Absolutely.
Son, you know how fast you were going?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he brings in Metal Gear Solid 3, and he says, something's busted with it. I can't get past the start screen. And I was like, oh, I know what the problem is. And so I didn't want to, it's easier to show him, so I put it in the system, and the game says, like, press action or press, it's something to get past the start screen. I don't think it says press start, though. In Metal Gear Solid, the accept button is not the X, if you're imagining a PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
The X is at the bottom.
Hey! Noname's back.
And it's Naname. No Name Cookies, hello, good to see you again. You are our second repeat chatter. Good to have you back. Mon Frere is correct. Where was I? Oh yeah. So the accept button is the circle, which is usually what most games is the back button,
cancel button.
the cancel button. So he puts it in, and I was like, here's the thing. You have to press circle. He couldn't get past the start screen because the accept button was circle, and Metal Gear Solid 3 was not taking your shit.
No.
They're like, I don't care.
No.
This is a barrier for
You're going to learn to press circle right now.
Hey, we got a new guy. Hello,
Boris
Boris
Johnson.
Boris Johnson.
Hello.
Good to see you. Welcome to the podcast.
Okay, now, in that guy's... The one thing I wanted to ask this guy, because I wasn't actually there for this. I really wish I were. But I should have said, guys, dude, you seriously just sat there hitting the same button?
Right.
How many buttons are on the PS2 controller?
Like, just try a couple more.
Start, select,
Yeah.
triangle, circle, X, square, L1, L2,
I
R1,
can't really get too mad at him because when I was 6, I rented Super Mario Brothers 2, and it drops you into a little room at the beginning, and the first thing you have to do is learn to go through the door, where you go over the doorway and you press. Do you remember? On the D-pad. Imagine an NES game.
Oh, down, right?
Up. You go up, press up on the D-pad to
Oh,
go through
okay,
the
door. Yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I was 6.
But you're 6.
But I couldn't figure it out.
How old is he?
30.
There's the difference.
Maybe.
I had half of the Legend of Zelda memorized by the time I was 4.
Wow. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Hold up the help sign.
Okay, so now
getting in the way.
The main topic of today is I want to ask you guys about games that surprised you, and like something that either you thought was going to be shitty and you played it anyway, or you got for free and like, okay, whatever, and you started it and it was like, wow, oh, whoa, this is so much better than I gave it credit for. So to me, a recent one actually was Shadow Warrior. I got it, like, they gave it away for free on Steam for a while, and it's a remake of an old 3D Realms game that was incredibly racist, like the sort of Asian, think of the Asian version of Duke Nukem.
Okay.
And it was like, especially looking back, I was like, oh god. And so they updated it with Devolver, who also had a hand in Hotline Miami, or at least published Hotline Miami. So Devolver Studios, the Shadow Warrior remakes it as a first-person game. It's also available on Xbox One. I played it on Steam, and it's first-person shooter and swordplay, and some magic, and it's really fucking fun, and it's hysterical. The script is so good, and it has one of those surprisingly deep stories where, like, it goes through sort of the ancient gods and, like, their ancient battle and how it's taking place in modern day, and you start off as this, you know, dude who's, like, sort of a Duke Nukem-y kind of asshole, like, making puns and, like, carved up a bunch of motherfuckers, who goes through a bunch of shit, and actually there's a line at the end where he finds the head of an ancient god, and he's like, all right, let's head out, and the god goes, head out, good one, and he goes, I'm sorry, I used to be an asshole, it's force of habit. So, like, there's that, like, character, like, fucking growth. So where he starts off as, like, this gunslinging douchebag and ends up being this sort of calm, not stoic, but calm, honorable warrior.
Yeah. Okay. Boris Johnson, you mentioned Duke Nukem Forever right about when we did, too, judging on the lag. So, yeah, okay. Send us an email. I would like to hear why you liked it. Because I'm sure you have your reasons, and you're going to clog up the tats.
I like Duke Nukem Forever, despite the fact that it was a joke.
Despite the fact that it was
a
giant
12
joke.
years.
You know what? We're about to show off just how shitty our taste in games are.
No name. We're going to be here for another 15 to 20 minutes, and we have like an hour show. Actually, I'm going to ask you guys this afterwards, but a heads up that in August our podcast schedule is going to change. It's probably going to be more prime-timey kind of thing, but I'm just throwing that out there now. But another 15, 20 minutes.
But if you wait another 15, 20 minutes, then we all take a shower.
Then we can all together.
Super weird.
Do group shower.
Yeah. Actually, no. If you take a shower and then we take a shower, it'll be like we're taking a shower with you. Yeah. So then it could be really awkward.
If it's fuck, I'll figure that out. Anyway,
the behind the scenes stuff.
Shadow Warrior, and the one that I've talked about a lot is Spec Ops: The Line. Where it looks like a Call of Duty bullshit game, and then you play through like, oh my god, there's so many fucking levels in this game.
Yeah,
dude, it was fantastic, man. I played through that in like a day. I was just hooked. You know, I mean, everything about that had so many like cool little like twists and turns. Like there was so.
I think that's Nolan North's best performance, to be honest with you guys.
Really,
the voice actor, yeah. Because like, and it's the little things like, and I've mentioned this before, but when you start, this stream has suicidal tendencies. Yeah. I don't know why it does that. We'll figure it out. But you start off and just little color language and lines and stuff at the beginning. He's, when you're shooting a guy, he's like, hey, take cover, grenade, tag that. When you tag a guy for your partners to shoot, that guy right there. As he continues to lose his sanity through the game, those little things change. It's like, grenade! Get this the fuck away from me!
Yeah.
Shoot that motherfucker! And as he loses his shit, just those little things change, and it's very disturbing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's very good. Okay, so things that surprised you guys, games that were like took you by surprise.
You might. I think you're probably gonna know where I'm going, so I'll go last. I want to hear these two first.
Hateful Boyfriend.
I thought it was Hatoful Boyfriend.
I don't know.
Maybe you're right.
I haven't got far enough into it to realize
was that the one with the pigeons or the llamas? Or alpacas?
Pigeons. It's a pigeon dating sim.
It's a pigeon dating sim. I streamed a little bit of it.
It's so funny. I watched the shit out of that stream too, John. I love it.
I couldn't decide in the very beginning. I was just like, I'm just going to read all this because I don't know how fast I'm going to be.
People can read. Well, also, you're just sitting there silent.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so yeah, I think you should probably read it.
It's good. Yeah, that was super good. You know...
You gotta work on your voices.
I like Diablo, like, a lot. Like, Diablo 2. Like, played the shit out of that game. Mm-hmm. And so there was a time in my misspent youth where I was looking for a Diablo 2 clone. Mm-hmm. And so I would just pretty much play anything that did that. But I found a little game called Nox in the intermittents there, and it was... I played the shit out of that game.
It took you... It just grabbed you in this
it grabbed me in
you found in your...
stupid Diablo 2 clone. I played the shit out of that game. It was funny, had, like, good comedy in it.
Yeah.
No real story, but, like, the mechanic was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. The fat one. That one. Which pigeon should you
sleep with? That question haunts all. Is there a pigeon that you found tickled? If you
had
a fancy and it were tickled, buy a pigeon.
I'm going after the creepy one in the library.
The creepy one in the library? The one that complained about his books being gone all summer?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one for me.
This game. Yeah. Watch John stream. His name is down there at the bottom. You can go search for him and follow him.
I'm definitely going to play more today. So.
That's good. We'll host you. Will?
I was but a wee lad,
mm-hmm.
and I was playing on the Xbox at a buddy's house, and I was going through his games. He just had a stack of them, right? And I see a particular game. I grab it. The cover caught my eye. I go home, and I wasn't prepared for the journey I was taking on. And it was a little game called Shenmue 2.
Oh!
Damn! Holy shit. Yeah. It just, I mean, that whole game, you're searching, and you finally get to this end point where, you're walking through the forest, and then it fucking ends.
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
Oh, no wonder why everybody lost their shit at Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. When I heard Shenmue 3 was coming out, I looked up the video, and you see people in the audience, like, crying.
Yeah.
Because, dude, that game...
Weeping real human tears.
Real human tears.
It was an adventure.
So this is the first one's on the Dreamcast, and I think actually that's probably why I still have the Dreamcast. There's no other way. There's no digital releases of Shenmue 1 and 2.
No.
And it was ahead of its time in that way that it was like a life sim in the way that, like, you gotta go to bed and you only have certain times during the day that you can go do things. You have a real person job. When you're looking through, like, a hotel room, you have to, you open the drawers and shit looking for stuff and investigate it.
You find a piece of paper and you go, well, I don't know what the fuck that is. I have to go ask everybody if they know what this is. Like, that's cool.
I still like the Penny Arcade comic. I will find the person who kidnapped my sister, but first I will drink the soda.
And pet this kitten.
Hello, Silver Folks.
Hello.
Yeah, Silver Fox. Hello. How's it going? Thanks for joining us. And I've mentioned it. There now. I've mentioned it in the chat, but FYI, you can visit our webcomic at angrycuddles.com, and the audio version of the podcast goes up. The video version of the podcast goes up on YouTube on Wednesdays as well. I'm gonna have to find a way to combine these failed streams, or I'm gonna have to fix something. I don't know what it is. Change a cable. So Shenmue, and on Dreamcast, you sort of play through the prologue. The whole game is like the prologue. And you get to the end and you go to China. And then Shenmue 2, you start in China, and they sort of...
No. Is this the Oregon Trail, or is this Oregon Trail, or is it Super Wagon Adventure, or whatever that one was?
Well, what's great about PS4 is when you die of dysentery, the graphics are going to be insane.
That's the thing. I usually die of cholera.
You will actually die of dysentery.
So Shenmue 2 picks up where you get to China. They streamline a lot of the action stuff, and the quick time events were there for people that couldn't fight very well. Like, it was like you can do these segments just by hitting buttons and when we tell you to.
Yeah.
But then Shenmue 2 actually gets to, like, this cliffhanger of you go in this cave and, like, you guys should just go play it. I'm not going to spoil everything, but it's like oh, holy shit, this just exploded really big kind of moment, and then nothing for 14 years.
Yeah.
And so Sam was watching me, actually, when I got to the end of Shenmue 2, and he was like, now I'm interested in this fucking... Like, he watched me play for, like, both games. Like, this is bullshit. This game blows. It's boring. Holy shit, that's incredible! And then nothing. And so that's why Shenmue 3 is a big deal.
Okay.
That's a really good one. Yeah. Shenmue 2 really got you.
It blew me away, man. Like, now I can't wait for the third.
The source too high. Do you mean the upstream or Chuck M.F. Norris, or the resolution? It could be both. I'm downscaling the resolution on the stream, and so I don't think it's that, but I may have the bit rate up, the max bit rate up too high. But let me know if you have a suggestion, please. That'd be great. Chuck, your surprising game that you really got you.
2 of them. One of them was panned for just being the weirdest piece of shit ever. And it was just and people played it and like, this is an Xbox 360 game? Are you sure? Because it looks like it was made for the Dreamcast. And I got around to watching a couple of Let's Plays of it, and I fell in love with it. And then I actually got the controller in my hands and played it myself, and I fell further in love with it. And Deadly Premonition is still one of my favorite games now.
What happens if I change a setting while we're streaming?
It changes.
It just changes it. It's not gonna like that. Okay.
I wouldn't futz with it. I mean, you got like what, 5 minutes left?
It'll tell you this won't change until your next time you start streaming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change this to 15.
Deadly Premonition. Tell me why. Well, it plays like old school.
Deadly Premonition is a good example.
It's a lot better than you think, and the director's cut is now available on Steam. It's been out for some time. I got it for like $10, and it was worth.
Well, when they launched it, it was only $19.99 or something.
Yeah,
like when they launched
it was a $20. It was a bargain bin title when it first came out. Probably because they knew, I don't know, this game is a little weird, and sure enough, the fucker plays like Twin Peaks made by Capcom. Yeah. That's what it looks like.
And here's the thing, is like, Alan Wake came out before it and was really polished and really, like, you know, it was fun, it was a good game, also inspired by Twin Peaks a lot and some Stephen King novels and stuff like that. And I really liked Alan Wake. But then Deadly Premonition came out, and it was like a shitty Resident Evil 4 in terms of, like, controls. Yeah. The graphics are not good. The
combat makes no sense.
The combat doesn't really make sense. It's weird, but the game knows it. And it owns it, and it's just sort of weirdness and coming to, not coming to, sorry, but the story and the characters, like, the voice acting is bad, but on purpose. Like, that's the charm of the game. Yeah. And it also draws heavily from Twin Peaks, and better than Alan Wake did it, by the way.
Yes, much.
Yeah, that's a solid entry.
Yep. And another one is Alpha Protocol. Everybody panned Alpha Protocol for being like the buggiest piece of shit out there, and you know, I can see where the arguments are coming from, but at the same time, it is still fun.
Speaking of choice-based RPGs, that's another one that did it right. Is because you have the on the back of the game. I don't even know if it's actually on the back of, but the developers like, you can choose between being any of the 3 Bs in terms of spies. You can be Bond, Bourne, or Bauer. So you can be smooth talking tech guy, you can be sharp shooting stealth guy, or you can be blow the shit up and yell at people and be angry guy, or you can mix them. Yeah. And actually, you kind of need to mix them a little bit to get through. Like, okay, this guy's getting really antagonistic towards me. I better calm it down. Or this girl's not respecting me because I'm trying to flirt with her. So let's, yell at her, for example. Yeah. But different people react to you differently and will help you or hinder you as you make conversational decisions. Yeah. Your conversational decisions are also timed. The meter goes down, and if you don't make a decision, it makes one for you.
And your conversational decisions not only affect who you're talking to, they affect other people's opinion of you. If you say something to another character and a third person is listening, they will have a response to that. And if they like or don't like what you said to somebody, then your relationship with that person is affected.
Your handlers on missions will, even sort of talk to you differently depending on how they feel about you, and may help you better if they feel like you're being effective. Like, okay, really giving you a hand there. And also, all the choices you make play into future missions.
Yep.
Because if you save or kill a guy, he can have shit for you, or do an airstrike later, or or come back and fuck you if you didn't kill him.
Like, one of them will even become your handler. A couple of them will become your handler.
That's a good one too.
The combat is pretty standard, although you can level up your various skills. Good RPG elements there. It's a short game. Like, I kind of wanted more out of it, because what happens is you have the first mission, and then you have 3 missions that you can do in any order, and they will pay attention to what order you do them in. And then you have another mission, and then you have the last mission, and then the game is over. And I want another game, or I want more to that game. And like the music, like I recently discovered this. The music was done by Brian Transeau, and that name does not sound familiar.
Was he a skater, an Olympic skater?
Yes, he was an Olympic. No. He was in the World Series of Poker. That's what that was.
He was in World Series.
Yeah. No, Brian.
Two very different things.
No,
Was
Brian.
he an Olympic skater? No,
Brian-
he worked at Subway.
Brian Transeau. Brian Transeau is a DJ. Dragonfly, good to join us right there at the back end of it all.
Yeah,
Hey,
Will,
Will.
it's good to
here.
see Will.
It's
It's also good to see the rest of us, but what?
Thanks, Dragonfly. You're
it's
the
good to see
best.
everybody but you.
Number one super fan.
Brian
Will's fans are starting to trail into the.
Brian Transeau is a DJ. He's been doing it for 20 years. He goes by the name BT.
I have heard of it. I have heard
Yes,
the name BT.
BT is one of the biggest fucking names in EDM, and he's been doing it for forever.
Is that where you like chain up your partner and like whip them and stuff?
Yes, precisely.
That
You know
sounds
what?
great.
I'm
sounds
getting
great.
sick of these fucking jokes. I don't even know why I'm part of this podcast anymore.
I was trying to think. Is there anything that you guys played like against your will? Like
Yes.
a friend got you into it, and you just went through it with your friend, like because they were doing it, and you can whether you ended up liking it or not, especially if you ended up liking it. But
I really, really resisted Kingdom Hearts.
You did?
Like, really hard. Yeah, I did not want any part of
So
that.
good.
And it's so good. It's so good.
It's so good. It's a great game.
It's a great game.
It really
Like,
is.
Will, you ever
stole
watch
my
Game of
heart.
Thrones?
I do watch Game of Thrones. That's actually why I started doing my hair like this when Eddard Stark first lost his head.
Yeah.
I put my hair like this one day at work, and I was like, "This is in honor of him," and then I just never stopped
I
doing
never
it.
stopped.
I think it's perfect. It keeps your hair out of your face.
There was another. What was the shitty card game that you and your friend Eric used to play on GameCube? Lost Kingdoms.
Lost Kingdoms.
Was that one that was Was that like a surprisingly good game, or was it
That
like
game
this-
was bad,
It was just bad.
and I was good at it.
How much did you play that game?
A lot. Probably logged like 80 hours in that stupid game. The point was I could beat Eric at it. It was
If you could beat
it was
Eric
heralded.
if you could beat Eric Detweiler at a card game, you were.
It was heralded as the first RPG of the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah.
No.
Not really.
Okay. Anybody? You guys get your friends drag you into a game?
You know what? Definitely, it was Jedi Academy, and I was obsessed with it after that. Like,
Really?
It was my buddy Michael Ramsey, actually. He got this game and he's like, "It's really cool. The lightsaber mechanics are great." I was like, "Awesome, I'm in." And so I kind of went in, and it was just it's dark. And
Thanks, Marty McFly.
it was just a fantastic game. And actually, I had a guild created on that game. We had a website.
Was there multiplayer in that game?
Yeah,
Huh.
Xbox Live.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Guilds. I had a guild in Chrome Hounds. Was the first guild we made
Oh, fucking
on the
Chrome Hounds, man.
360. It was a mech game, and
A political mech game.
we had our guild was Ravensword, and our emblem, and we carried it through different games and stuff. Like we went so actually in WoW our guild was Ravensword and stuff, and our emblem was any sort of blade with a wing on it, like that. And different variants of that, a bat wing or an angel wing or whatever, sword, knife, dagger, katana, broadsword, whatever. And then in Metal Gear Solid 4, one of the PMCs, one of the private
named
military quarters was
Ravensword.
named Ravensword. And so we stopped using it. Damn it. But, yeah.
I got dragged into WoW twice.
You did?
Yeah.
It
Like
didn't stick, though,
pretty
did it?
much every MMO I've ever played.
How long were you in WoW before you...
The first time...
You got dragged into WoW by a girl, though, that you were interested in.
The second time, yes.
Okay.
But I still got dragged in nonetheless.
There's
Girls, they make us do crazy things.
Crazy
girls
things.
you're interested in make you do crazy things.
Very true.
There were no girls involved the first time I played WoW.
Okay.
There were no girls involved when I played Dark Age of Camelot.
Mm-hmm.
There were no girls involved when I played Anarchy Online, which is the name of that one that I couldn't think of. That is apparently still going despite all the bugs.
Huh. Anybody know if APB Reloaded is still going? That MMO?
Wow.
Anybody?
I've read the books
think that
twice.
was dead.
Marty McFly, how many people here watch Game of Thrones? I think we all watched it and caught up.
He
Yes.
reads.
Are
And
you up to
John reads.
Yeah,
I finished
read it.
season 5. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm caught up.
Aren't these like the last couple of seasons that they're doing after this?
There's 7 books in theory, and we're up to date with the 5th one.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be 2 more left.
Yeah. I heard
Who
it's
the fuck
ending.
knows? George Railroad Martin, I don't know if he's gonna.
George Railroad
I don't
Martin?
know. He's not gonna.
Is that what you said?
He said RR. He said RR.
But it
Martin.
sounded like
Railroad Martin.
The
He
railroad
just
version.
stretched it out. He's got a George Railroad Mountain. We're like, what?
Yeah.
And I just...
I think
It's
that
like-
he should forever be called Railroad
Martin.
from
Just
now
kidding, Rowling.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Rail. Oh my god. Stop that. E.L. Fudge.
Jesus Christ.
E.L. Fudge and 50 Shades of Chocolate.
Oh, E.L. Fudge. That's a good cookie. If you
I
guys
thought you were about to say it was a good book. Like, what the fuck?
E.L. Fudge, if you guys want a quality cookie, like, I'll do a fucking commercial for this Keebler assholes.
This episode of
because
Angry Cuddles brought to you by
those
Keebler
things are
Cookies.
shit.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, man, it's like Oreos if they, like, laced them with MSG and cocaine. It's like powdered MSG and cocaine on an Oreo, but reverse Oreo. Because there's chocolate in the middle, and then, like, butter-flavored cookie on top. Holy
nice.
shit.
I read books on ESO because you know what? Actually, I will say this right now. I found
Will's the
somewhere
ESO guy.
the ESO guy. Yeah. Okay. I found somewhere like you could download on PDF file all of the books from Oblivion.
Oh,
Holy
all
shit,
of the
really?
to the in-game books
lore
that you
books,
could
If you would like it,
Dude,
I
really
have
would.
it.
I would.
Because I mean, you talk about some deep fucking lore. There you go.
Yeah, dude. Because there was a book I got onto. I think it was on. Yeah, it was in Skyrim, and it was called The Black Arrow.
Yeah.
And it was about the archer, and there's a series of 3 of them, and I like scoured to find
Yeah,
all
to
3.
find all of them.
I was
because
looking-
the story was great.
I was looking for the real
And that
Baron
was-
Zaya.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, there's the history of the Queen, or something like that, whatever it's called, and then it's called the Real Baron Zaya, and it's 2 sides of Queen Baron Zaya the First.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find all of those books so that I could get like
Are there in-game books in Elder Scrolls Online like in Skyrim and stuff?
There absolutely are.
Is the lusty
Argonian
in
the
there?
lusty Argonian maid?
Mhm.
Yeah. I think
Lusty
there's been a
Argonian
hat
maid.
tip to it in ESO, but I haven't found it yet.
Okay,
the lore books are kind of different.
Are there
not
any
like-
like door stoppers?
What's a door stopper?
Like Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Any one of the Song of Ice and Fire books. War and Peace.
Big
Books that
one.
are so
Oh.
fucking big that you could use them to hold up your table.
I see.
Right. Okay. In ESO?
Yeah.
No.
No?
In fact, in ESO, books are 1 to 2 pages.
Like pages.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
That's-
I would
yeah.
feel a little ripped off because what I'd like to do sometimes is
Yeah.
just sit there and read the book.
Yeah.
But like
Absolutely.
there's actually there's a story. in-
Guys, stop! I know we're like halfway through dungeon, but I just picked this book. I'm gonna read it. You guys
can wait.
go to your inventory. I gotta see how
Well, and
lusty this Argonian is.
That's the great thing about ESO
heard
too, is that you'll be in a dungeon, and the cool thing is, whatever your character doing, it doesn't matter if you're in a menu, your character is shown digging through his bag.
Okay, that's
So it's like,
the indication to
Yeah.
everyone that I am busy.
yeah, if you're in a menu. Now, if you go into a separate menu in that, he might pull out a scribe and start writing, like parchment, or like reading a book, and
There was a game where when you did that, when you went into the menu, and maybe it's Star Wars: The Old Republic, where like their little hollow thing
oh,
comes
that's
up,
great. That's
like
very
their
cool.
bippity.
They're bibbidibidoos.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of those.
Yes. Yeah, most of us are filthy casuals, Marty McFly, for Game of Thrones. But you know why? Because all those books don't have pictures in them.
Okay, just... Yeah.
There you go.
You know...
Put some goddamn illustrations, George Railroad Martin.
Yeah.
Quit railroading me.
Yeah, Mr. Railroad.
The audiobooks work just fine.
Audiobooks were great when we worked at the museum.
If they're read by Jon Snow, I'm all over it.
Jon Snow.
My name's Jon Snow.
If you guys don't want to hear any Game of Thrones spoilers, then take a break. But we're gonna spend about 3 minutes here before the actual sign off.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly felt bad for Jon Snow because I liked him, and you're supposed to. He's a likable guy. They say a bunch of times like, "You're a good man, Jon Snow." You know, even his enemies say, "You're a good man, Jon Snow."
You're gonna fucking pay for it.
We're gonna wreck your shit or whatever.
No good deed goes unpunished, huh?
And that's but that's par for the course for Game of Thrones for me. Yeah. It's like, I liked him. He's gone now. Although since the Red Wedding, I am Team White Walker. Team White Walker, go White Walkers! and when they came in that big battle, I was rooting for every one of them White Walker motherfuckers. Like, kill those fucking guys! Oh no, don't let him get out on the boats. You guys can walk in the water. Go.
Who cares? It's not like you're gonna drown.
Yeah.
And then he gave the big come at me.
The
bro.
big come at, and everybody stands up. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Like, Team White Walker.
Yeah, that was really cool. But Jon Snow's coming back.
Yeah.
He's making a big comeback, yeah.
Think of an old guy describing Daenerys and Drogo sexy. Oh.
Yeah, and I'd like to say, Ian McKellen reading the Game of Thrones. And then he opened her bust and placed his wing upon her brow. Or, I don't know. What?
Yeah.
I don't know how sexual
I would love
her brow.
I would love to have a clip of Magneto telling me all men must die, all men must serve. That's all I'm saying.
As the crow flies. Where was I at? Yeah, so
Deadpool's movie.
Here's the thing that got me about the end of season 5.
Yeah.
Cersei is not a likable character. She's, and for all intents and purposes, now the villain of the story, I guess, I don't care what she's done. What happened to her was incredible. Yeah. And the fact that they did the whole fucking walk. Yeah, they didn't stop. That scene ran for 5, 7, 8 minutes, and it was torture.
I felt.
And here's the thing: when that episode ends, everyone's like, "Oh my god, Jon Snow!" Like, okay, yeah, getting stabbed blows, but the shit that Cersei went through, like, that's
literal and
unbelievable.
I felt like what Cersei got,
we do. Guys, here's where you can do at this point. I do not have any idea. I've lowered the bitrate for the stream. I do not know why it continues to do that. I may try a different... It could not handle Jon Snow's death. It took the easy way out.
Do you want me to bring my laptop?
I'm the new Lord Commander.
I'll figure something out. I'll run some tests this week, let the stream go for a little while and see if we can figure it out. But here's what you can do at this point. If you would like to subscribe to John, he is Blanc8. You can follow him on Twitch. If you'd like to follow Chuck, he's Byronic Commando, listed down there. He's on Twitch. If you want to get more Will, go to moonlightnative.com. That's his band, and they're amazing.
More this beautiful man.
And also, you have an active Twitter account at Will Roth Music, and I'm going to put that in the chat. So if you would like to go follow, is that right?
That is right.
Okay. Get more Will in your life. If you guys are new to the stream, please follow us. We will fix the stream's technical problems, I promise.
Remember, we're just getting started. We're fixing a lot of shit.
Mondays at 12:30 is the podcast, and our webcomic is at angrycuddles.com, and I'm going to put that in the chat as well. The webcomic is Tuesdays and Thursdays. The audio version of the podcast and video goes up on Wednesdays, and our streams are on Monday.
You have the email on Angry Cuddles, right?
You can email us at angrycuddles@gmail.com if you want to.
Okay, because we're starting to get a really just active chat, and it feels like we're kind of ignoring people. So
We've addressed almost every chat entry.
We have, but they keep coming in, and I don't want to stop streaming because they're
you want to keep talking.
I want to keep talking.
Yeah.
So here's what I want you guys to do on the Angry Cuddles website, and you got the link to the email. Our topic this week was games that surprised you. I would actually like to hear about this.
Absolutely.
And also, we dropped a whole bunch of different kind of sections going on. Let us know what if you have any memories of Satoru Iwata, with some of his favorite games, like any Earthbound players, hit a brother up, because we gotta say something. And not only that, Game of Thrones, there's a whole bunch of shit just going on here.
And in our Facebook, you can go and leave some comments about games that surprised you on our Facebook page.
Oh yeah, why do I keep forgetting about?
Actually, do that. That's a better thing. Yeah, then we can interact with you there.
Yeah, start a new post or something. Let's see where these comments can go.
We're going to be at Dallas Comic-Con in October. We're going to have a table there. We're going to be selling our shirts and graphic novels and comic prints and.
So I get to go.
I mean, if you guys,
fuck yeah.
Mike, who does the game tales, Joseph, who draws for the webcomic, are going to be there on a day, and there's a third day that if you guys want to come be the Angry Cuddles representative with me on that day, any of you guys really, I'm also going to open this up to Shark, and I'll tell you who Shark is in a second. But we can figure out some way. You may already be at Comic-Con for Sci-Fi Factory, so you may not need an Angry Cuddles badge, but you can come by and meet Chuck at the Angry Cuddles table in October.
You can come and meet Chuck, or you can come and meet Wilson Fisk. Depending on
his Wilson Fisk cosplay was nice at Fan Expo. There is a webcomic creator, Shark Masharka, who does a webcomic called Hedgie Hates. And we met her at the Midsummer Block Party at Sci-Fi Factory.
Yeah.
And she may be coming onto the podcast as well in the next couple weeks. And also in the next couple weeks, if you guys know Rebel Riley, she's a streamer on Twitch. She plays a lot of Destiny also. She's going to Skype in, hopefully, in the next few weeks with us and chat about streaming in Destiny. If I'm going to need some Skype help
and Twitch
to see if that can work.
Me and Calvin have figured out
how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Here's I got an idea for you. You got Twitch.
Yeah.
And you still have Skype.
Yeah.
So you got to show me how to do some stuff on my site so I can finally get that shit updated for you guys out there.
Yeah. I need to work with you on your.
Yeah.
Actually, probably pull it up here. Anyway, follow us on all the various places. Please follow us. Our channel right here. That would be just fantastic. We will finish now, and we'll be back next Monday at 12:30 p.m. Central Time, U.S. And we'll start on that end. No, actually, fuck it. I'm going to start. You can be the last one. My name is Steven.
I'm Chuck, Byronic Commando.
I'm Will.
I'm John.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Goodbye, guys.
Boring ass intros. We love you guys. See you next week.